Breaking news, Alexander Usyk relinquishes his belts, vacates them.
Гарний день сказати про те, що я хочу залишити всі свої пояси.
And says he's got one last dance, whatever that means.
Я залишаю пояси, але я не йду зі спорту, тому що у мене є last dance.
Bigger story is Tabayel is made champion. Now, my experience is I spent 20 years with Frez, and we're still fighting the WBA. 3 times he was supposed to fight for the title. Brown, Briggs, and Char. They all tested positive for steroids. 3 times. Never got a chance to fight again. Complete decimation of his career. They didn't make him champion. They made Char champion, the WBA. So boxing is extremely inconsistent. I did do a podcast on the Rico versus Usyk fight, which turned out to be the deciding factor possibly with Usyk. Maybe he got tested more than he wanted to. Maybe he felt something in the ring that he hadn't had felt before. Maybe his family talked about it, but we wish him luck.
It looks like he wants to fight Wilder in the United States, so we'll see if that happens. Like the rest of you out there that have diarrhea of the mouth, it just got to get out there. Robbery, stopped early. As far as Rico goes, everyone thought that this guy's like some kind of invalid. This guy's a 6'5", 250-pound solid, granite chin champion, who hasn't been beaten. So yeah, he's a kickboxer, but half of kickboxing is boxing. So that's why it's called kickboxing. Kick and you box. So you can't take anything away from this guy. Yeah, he didn't have the experience, but everyone bitched that he got the opportunity to fight Usyk and it was going to be a joke. So they bitched about the WBC okayness for a title. That the fight was stopped early. So people out there it's comical. So what I've done is instead of coming out there and giving my opinion as soon as it happened, like I wanted to sit down, let it sink in, watch it a couple times. I'm going to take this from a perspective that Usyk was at his best. He had the worst night of his life. Rico had the best night of his life, which is a fair way of taking it. Rico came in motivated, confident, strong. He could take a punch. Again, as far as his talent goes, he just kind of came in like a bull, like a true Rocky movie. But I'm going to go through the facts. And the facts are a lot different than what people think. As far as I'm going to address the robbery, the scores, and the CompuBox punching stats. Don't know. Everyone thinks this was a strictly WBC card because Mauricio Suleiman was there. In fact, the sanctioning bodies were the WBC and the WBA with oversight by the EBF, which I believe is the Egyptian Boxing Federation. Referee stopped the fight with 2:59 by Mark Lyson. Usyk started in the 10th. He basically abandoned his back foot and whatever his corner was telling him, and he went with his gut instincts to do what he does. WBC sanctioned about, but this was also WBC and WBA sanctioned. It was not by the IBF. So let's keep that in mind. This isn't Mauricio Suleiman with his judges and his referees pulling a quick one over your eyes. But really the biggest point that we have here is the scores were tied. It was 95-95 on 2 of the judges' cards. I think it was 96-94 with the judge from Canada. So you had Judge Palomo from Spain. He's an EBU, WBA, and WBC official. Then you had the guy from Switzerland, Fabian, multi-belt championship official, completely not a WBC only judge. Judge 3, Pasquale, from Canada, IBF, WBA, North American official, ironically, who had that fight for Rico. It was like a global international choosing, not by the WBC. 9 of the 10 rounds were scored exactly by the 3 judges from 3 different places and 3 different organizations. They did not exclusively belong to the WBC. These were all neutral international judges who scored everything exactly the same. I mean, the referee was chosen by the British Board of Boxing, whatever, BBBBB, what's it called? Yeah, so the backgrounds, these guys are all highly prominent judges. They all had it scored identical, different sanctioning bodies, different parts of the world. The regulatory body overseeing was the Egyptian Federation. But what they did is they were the local authority. They went to the British Boxing Board of Control to basically run the thing so everything's on the up and up. So that means these guys, they all would have to be in collusion with the WBC. Can't happen. They all would have to be in collusion with the Egyptian Commission. They couldn't because the referee was judged by the British Board of Boxing Control. And you had all three judges from different parts of the world, and they all had to score the same, with the exception of one guy who had one round for Rico. The referee didn't know what was going on with the chaos in the fight. There's people screaming like crazy because Rico's gone down. They're all over the place. Now, Rico gets dropped, okay? You know he's hurt. Gets dropped a second time. So right there's a 10-7. It's not 10-8. Got dropped twice, 10-7. He had, if I'm counting correctly, a minimum of 15 seconds to recuperate, because it's, I think, the second or third time he lost his mouthpiece. Did not have a point taken away. I'm not knocking him for it. The judges want to kind of keep it close because let's say Rico wins every single round from 1-7. It's a 12-round fight for the title. I think you have to take it away from the champion. It's generally understood that you need to take the fight away from the champion. And Rico was doing everything he could. You can't say that the guy wasn't trying. But my point is, like when De La Hoya fought Trinidad, he won 9 rounds and then he tried to coast and run for 3 rounds. Say, okay, I won the first 9 rounds. It's not a 9-round fight. It's not Rico 7, Usyk 0. I'm going to sit on my laurels that I won the first 7 rounds. Then have a 7-round fight. You need to fight the full 12 rounds. And the rounds that truly matter the most at this level are really the championship rounds, and realistically 8 through 12. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You want to keep it close. You can't have a guy like, okay, I'm going to win the first 7 rounds and then chill out and who cares what happens. Because if you really look at both fighters in the 11th round when the fight was stopped, you look at Rico and he was definitely not on his way up. Usyk had turned it up in the 10th, really came on the 11th and brought it to him, where that round alone was a 10-7 round. So any way you look at it, Usyk's up at least 2-3 points. I haven't done the numbers, but if it's 95, let's call it 95 even, okay? He gets a 10-7 round. So now he's up at least 2 points. We don't know what would have happened in the 12th, and we can argue all day long that the fight was stopped prematurely and it shouldn't have been stopped. Fair point. It's not like the first time it's ever happened, and I'm confident in my heart that that's not what the guy did. Because then I can go back and say, well, you know what? Rico got dropped the second time. Had he not had his mouthpiece spit out and lost 15 seconds that Usyk really needed to stop him, I think Usyk could have stopped him and definitely would have probably hurt him again. And coming up in the 12th round, with this stuff behind you, with him coming up, I don't think anybody out here, you hook up a lie detector test to most of these people, I don't think anyone out there is going to say Rico would have stopped him. I don't think Rico would have won the 12th round. I think Usyk would have came on strong and possibly hurt him, let him go down on his shield. I get it. Well, it didn't happen. So let's deal with what we have. We have an 11th round where Rico would probably have to come back and either stop him or win strong with a 10-8 round. I don't see that happening. He didn't do it when he was fresh. He wasn't doing it. The trajectory for him was he was getting tired and going down. Trajectory for Usyk was going up. He was getting strong, and he was really going for it. So now Rico had caught him with good shots, but he wasn't catching him with solid, clean combinations. Go to the CompuBox numbers, dead even. 111 out of 5, basically 111 and 112 out of 499 and 500. So the percentages, the numbers, everything was right. Rico had landed more power punches, but by the last round when Usyk took over in the 11th, he beat that number too. So when you look at overall, Usyk had the same number of landed and thrown. I think he had the better, cleaner combinations. I think he hurt him, and he solidified with 2 knockdowns in the 11th round late in the game. We got to see the 12th round would have probably went to Usyk, if not Usyk stopping him. Wasn't it like the WBC didn't sit there and conspire like, a bunch of guys looking for money and saying, ooh, yeah, did they probably want him to win? Yeah, but you can't criticize the WBC for making this fight happen. And after it happens, and it was a competitive fight, and the referee who was chosen by the British stops the fight under circumstances that I understand why he did it. Sure, he may be wrong, but there was a 20-second break that Rico had during a critical point in the fight. He had been dropped once solid. He got basically knocked down because the rope saved him the second time. So if he would have just gotten the 8 count, Usyk would have had 10, 15 more seconds to do it again. You can't discount that. So by the time this happened, sure, the referee loses track of what's going on. You're not going to hear the bell with all that commotion being in that close, stopping it. So easy with the judges that it was fixed. The judges had it even. All 3 from different locations, they had the fight even. One guy had it for Rico. That's great. Even if they all had a free kill, going into the 11th round, Usyk is ahead. What happens in the 12th round? It's a coin toss, but I think most people would say that Usyk would have came on strong and most likely definitely won the round and maybe even stopped. So that's my take.